Haya. The Chancellor, my brother, Honorable Gideon Moi, the Chairman of the University, Dr. John Kibosia, Vice Chancellor, Professor Henry Kiplagat, trustees, administration, faculty, students, friends of Kabarak, and the graduating class of 2024. Hamjambo. Good morning. Shamge. Oyaore. I am so delighted to have the opportunity to come here and talk to you here this morning. I want to say that it's not my first time to be here. I was here in one of the graduation classes when I was invited by the founder of this university, the late President Mzee Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. So when Gideon asked me to come here, I told him, of course, I'm very delighted to come, and I'm here. I want to complete his introduction of me. Apart from many things he's talked about me, he never told you that I'm also an academician. I am a mechanical engineer by profession, a registered engineer, a chartered engineer. And I taught engineering at the University of Nairobi for 4 years before I went to start the business he's talking about. And therefore, when I come here, I feel very much at home with you people. I value education, because I know what education means to a country like ours. I also been given an honorary doctorate, University of Maseno, University of Nairobi, University of Lincoln Queen in Malaysia, and University of Florida, United States of America. So I have attended graduations very many times, and I'm very happy to preside over this occasion. But let me congratulate the Chancellor, my brother, Honorable Gideon Moi, and you and your team for the steady hand with which you have continued to guide this university. We are witnessing planned growth, solid infrastructure, and world-class degree programs in a very serene learning environment. I've come on a chopper, and I've had a kind of panoramic view of what is taking place here. It is very beautiful from the skies. To the graduates, I'm happy to celebrate with you an honor you have worked for and earned. Whatever we say or do today, this is your day, and it is your life's milestone. Enjoy it with your parents and friends. Congratulations to the Kabra class of 2024. I must congratulate the university for the progressive academic programs it has come up with this year. This focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, the Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence, Bachelor of Science in Data Science and Analytics, and the Master of Pharmacy in Oncology Pharmacy are today the country's dream. They point to an institution determined to take its rightful place in the journey to the future. I have also noted a curious but encouraging pattern here. At a time we are struggling with gender parity in nearly all our aspects of public life, Kabarak University seems to have overcome the barriers. Out of 2,541,000 graduates we are releasing today, females form 51.04%, while males constitute 48.96%. Congratulations, Wasichana. The women have attained the famous 50+1 mark here in Kabarak University. A hearty congratulations to our mothers, daughters, and sisters, and who are breaking the ceiling here at Kabarak University. To the graduates, let me now share a few reality checks. We release you into the society at a time of momentous challenges in our country and around the world. Our economy is not in its best of shapes. There are tremendous social pressures that are testing the limits of our capacity to endure. Unemployment rates remain untenable, even as we grapple with the right formula to finance healthcare and higher education. These challenges have led to a growing trust deficit in our governance institutions. Our unity as one people under one nation is under severe test. Across Africa, we are witnessing mixed results with regards to governance. Debt servicing is getting more challenging, while climate change continues to exert undue pressures to our fragile economies. You know that in this issue of climate change, Africa is a victim. Africa is not the offender. Africa releases less than 5% of the carbon into the environment, yet we live with the consequences of climate change. The wars in Europe and the Middle East and the uncertainties surrounding the regime in the US are not making the world any more at ease. At this moment, many of you here may rightly be wondering whether you will be able to earn a living in the years ahead. Some of you may even be questioning whether the education you have attained here was worth the effort and the money. Because of these uncertainties, the country is awash with prophets of doom and gloom. Men and women busy encouraging people to embrace hopelessness as a way of life and give up on this country as the way to save the country. Let me be clear from the outset. The problems our country and the world are going through are exactly the reasons you have gone to school and spent torturous years to earn a degree. If you have looked around and concluded that you see a not too good state of affairs in our country and Africa, and mostly chaos and uncertainty around the world, then you have truly gotten a sound education that has enabled you to see and diagnose the world as it is. Your parents and your country have offered you the education so that you can courageously, relentlessly, and honestly face these challenges with clarity of vision and help to find solutions. As a country, you have choices to make in the wake of these challenges. You have to decide whether to add fuel to the fires around us, and in so doing create more desperation and make it more difficult for us to confront our challenges. You can also help dampen the fires, mute the drums of war, and in so doing create a conducive environment for finding solutions to the problems. The choice is entirely in our hands. Let me make a personal stand. I believe that and that in times like this, surrender or retreat or lamentations are not options. You cannot sit back and say, things are too bleak, let us do nothing. That is foolish. You cannot say things are too bleak, let's do everything now. You cannot say this is not working for us, so let us burn down the entire house. And we cannot say our country is none of our business. Kenya is our business. This is the time for the people who have interacted with education to reflect on our condition vis-a-vis our aspirations and try something that puts the country on the path of our hearts. Kenya has come this far by always trying out ideas, improving on the previous ones, and seeking the middle ground on contentious issues. I invite you to stay on that path. More importantly, I invite you to stay engaged in the affairs of this nation. To the youth in this congregation, Africa needs your enthusiasm, imagination, courage, and ability to face the world as it is. I encourage you to use this education not to lament about a country you wished for, but to make the country that you are being presented with. Whatever you choose to do, just never give up. Let me share with you a small reminder from this very institution. But before I do that, I recently addressed the continent of Africa in AJAABU. And I told them that I'm an Afro-optimist and Afro-centrist. Afro-optimists as opposed to Afro-pessimists. They are those oracles. If you do not empower the youth, then they become a drag to the society. They become delinquents, drug addicts, criminals. But if you empower them by giving them requisite skills in education, then they become a source for wealth creation. They will become factors of creating wealth. And that's what we must do in our country, to empower our youth by giving them skills so that when they come out, they can become the manufacturers in our country. And that's why I congratulate this university for offering these opportunities. The very fact that Kabarak University is a testimony to never giving up, no matter the obstacles. We all know the history of the founder, President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, his foundations in life, his struggles from Sacho to Nairobi, the personal and political tribulations in Kenya's treacherous terrain, his refusal to give up in his focus on education as a sure path to a successful future. Many of you here will never witness the difficulties he faced in his early life. Because he and many of his generation refused to give up, he found the path a little smoother. From his example, it is clear that the future belongs to those who seek to shape it, despite the desperation of the present times. As young people, you have the right to demand of your country an opportunity to make an honest living, an environment that will enable you to start and bring up stable and prosperous families, and that an environment be created that ensures you will not be stuck in the struggles of your parents and will instead do better. You needed an assurance that everything is being done to ensure you grow up in a clean and healthy environment. You deserve all these and I encourage you to keep pressing. But I also want to remind you of the words of the President Franklin Roosevelt, spoken at the University of Pennsylvania on the 20th of September 1940, under the circumstance much similar to ours today. Roosevelt said, and I quote, "We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future." Unquote. I want to believe that the education you have acquired here has trained your minds, honed your talents, and prepared you for the requirements of this country's future. I said the other day that today the youth of Africa is desperate. You can see some youth drowning on ships trying to get to Europe in search of greener pastures. But we can actually create greener pastures here in Africa. I'm pleased with the efforts that we made here. And the chairman, the chancellor said that this institution is 100% green energy. Because we have got tremendous sources of green energy in our country. Here you have got geothermal potential around this area. Menengai is just next door. But huge potential that can be used to generate power. We have got solar for free. 366 days in a year. Free, which you can use. We've got hydro potential in this region. So we can harness this potential of green energy, wind around, to generate energy. And energy is the source of wealth creation. If we can be able to generate sufficient energy, there's no reason why our country cannot develop. Today, Kenya's energy generation is just about 3,000 megawatts. That's peanuts. It's equivalent to one town's consumption in Europe. We need to generate more energy in this country. And that is the way we are going to be able to set up industries here. China used to be laughed upon just about 40 years ago. But what China did was first to train manpower, offer the youth skills, trained the youth so the youth became highly skilled. So when they liberalized the economy, the manufacturers of the world saw a destination where the cheap, skilled manpower. There's also cheap raw materials. So they migrated to China. Today, for example, all the automobile industries are in China. Mercedes, Peugeot, Volvo, BMW, VW, Ford, Toyota, Nissan, Hyundai are all in China. They manufacture in China for the world. In Germany, they told me it is cheaper to manufacture Mercedes-Benz in China and ship it back to Germany than the one that is manufactured in Stuttgart in Germany. So China has become now the factory of the world. And by doing that, they were able to create 600 million middle class, moving people from poverty to middle class, 600 in a period of 30 years. We can do the same here in our country. Now, China is no longer the cheapest source of labor because Chinese have become more affluent. There's a gap down there which Kenya and Africa can fill. We need to create more opportunities for our youth, train them so that they become highly skilled as a source of wealth creation in our country. This is a major challenge, and I'm happy that this university is taking up the challenge. If this university has planted you in you the tree, the free inquiry minds and restless intellects and spirits that cannot be subdued, then in you are the best insurance for our nation's future, regardless of the circumstances of today. I end up quoting late President John F. Kennedy, who said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country." Now, go out and change Kenya for the better forever. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya.
Honorable Chancellor Sir, may allow me to invite all of us to stand so that we can sing one song, "To God Be the Glory," one stanza and a chorus will be led by Professor Frederick Gala.